Hello there, and welcome to a very special episode of Electric Sheep. This is our 152 subscriber special. There was a New Year's message that was our 150 subscriber special, but we may upload parts of that in the future. We'll see. But without any further delay, here is another short ish sci fi story titled Our Family.
Our family. For 67 years, Aloe Morgan lived stranded on Kepler Sigma, a small moon wrapped in a permanent electromagnetic storm. The storm bent signals into silence, blinded scanners, and turned every attempted launch into failure. Anything that tried to leave was shoved back down by invisible force, gently at first, then violently. Escape was not denied by lack of will, but by physics itself. Her ship endured. It could generate food, water, tools, medicine. Anything Aloe needed to survive. It could not punch a hole through the storm. Kepler Sigma was not barren. Jungles spread across the moon in layered greens and blues, alive with bird-like creatures that cried through the canopy and small mollusk things that clung to bark and stone, filling the role insects once did on Earth. Life thrived just beyond the hull, indifferent to her isolation. For decades, Aloe lived alone. Then one day, the jungle broke. A four-armed behemoth charged from the trees, its mass snapping branches like twigs. Aloe barely made it inside the ship before the creature slammed into the hull. It roared and pounded for hours, fists like living battering rams. The ship held, but the sound alone felt like a countdown. Desperate, Aloe ordered the ship to generate a handheld blaster. She waited. When the pounding slowed, when the rage burned itself into exhaustion, she stepped outside. The jungle was silent. Then the creature leapt from the shadows. She fired. The shot landed clean, burning into flesh. The creature howled but did not retreat. Instead, it surged forward, crushed the blaster in one massive hand, and hurled Aloe back through the hatch. Her body struck the rear wall of the ship with bone-deep force. There, hanging behind her, were the biotubes. 2 of them. Clear cylinders filled with fluid, each holding a premature infant. Her children conceived long ago, grown slowly, carefully, waiting for the day she believed rescue would come. Aro and Tio, not yet born, suspended between possibility and hope. The creature loomed over her. For one terrible moment, Aloe believed it would eat them, that this was how her story ended. Not alone, but watching everything she had guarded be destroyed. Instead, the creature stilled. Its breathing slowed. Its gaze shifted from Aloe to the biotubes, then back again. Something ancient passed through its posture, not something Aloe did not recognize at first. Paternal instinct. Universal. Unmistakable. In that instant, Aloe ceased to be an enemy. She became a mother. The creature stepped back. It did not roar again. It left the ship and vanished into the jungle. After that day, it returned, not as a threat, but as a presence. It brought down great trees and dragged them into place, building barriers that turned stampeding beasts aside. It chased predators from the perimeter and stood between the ship and storms of living flesh. Aloe never saw herself. It delivered food, meat, and fruit. Aloe could not eat but could recycle through the ship into nourishment and energy. Enough energy that the biotubes thrummed with new life. Aro and Tio were born into abundance. They grew fast, strong, their bodies adapting to the moon in ways Aloe never could. When they learned to walk, they did not fear the creature. They saw not an alien, but a protector. When they learned to understand its gestures and movements, it became their teacher as much as their mother. It answered to no spoken name. But the children noticed something. When Aloe raised a fist toward the creature, it raised one of its 4 fists in return. When the boys did the same, the response came steady, deliberate, respectful. So they called it One Fist. Aloe sometimes wondered if it was truly a name or merely a greeting, a signal shared across a species she had never seen another of. In 67 years, One Fist was the only one of its kind they ever encountered. Aloe grew old. Technology softened the years, slowed the decay, but time still claimed her inch by inch. Aro and Tio grew tall and powerful, shaped by jungle and symbiosis, carrying strength learned from watching One Fist move through the world. Then One Fist changed. It grew slower. Aloe's scans revealed infestations, parasites embedded deep within its body. She tried to help. The ship could cure almost anything. One Fist refused. One morning, a scream tore through the jungle, raw and terrible. Then silence. Days passed, then weeks. Alo mourned quietly. The boys stood watch without speaking. Then One Fist returned. It was not alone. Behind it came dozens, then hundreds of smaller beings, exact but miniature reflections of their mother. The parasites hatched into life, not sickness but legacy. A herd spilled into the clearing, feeding on stores of accumulated energy. Alo's ship converted back into nutrients, completing a cycle no one had understood until now. Life begetting life. Family expanding family. Alo watched from the doorway, old and unafraid. Aro and Tio stood beside her, fists raised. One Fist raised one in return. And for the first time in 67 years, Alo Morgan knew she was no longer stranded. She was home, and it was good.
Well, you might notice a couple stories ending with that line, "It was good." That's something I took from the Bible. It's just such a simple statement, just to clarify if there was any confusion there. It was good. It wasn't a conflict. It was a good thing. Yeah, in case it might have been a little unclear, it's the idea of your enemy sees you as an enemy until it realizes you're a mother, and then their whole perspective on you, on this person, changes, and instead of trying to attack them, it wants to protect them and bring food to them. And even though she can't eat the food, her technology is able to recycle the food, so her children in incubators are able to feed off of the abundance that this creature has brought them. And then in return, when this creature reproduces in its own way, they're able to use that same technology to create food and feed those offspring. And so it's a symbiosis. We're all in this together. um, yeah, I just wanted to write a story about family because I just watched this movie called Otto, and it just kind of inspired me to write this story. And ChatGPT did rewrite it, but it kept pretty well everything. It just I repeated a bunch of details over and over, and ChatGPT changed that. But the one thing I didn't like that it did is it uses it to refer to the creature One Fist, and I'm very particular to make sure that my pronouns for aliens and robots are at least a they usually. So it's very rarely I'll let that slip through. Normally I will change it to they because it's rude to call something it, especially if you want it to be represented as a full-fledged character. But some things may want to be referred to as it, or maybe they're just so different to the point that they doesn't really apply to them. But I think they could have fit on this character. But this, I apologize, is a story that used it to describe the creature, and I think that's rude. But other than that, I really like this story. I'll just leave it at that. My name is Joseph Arthur Roszell. You might know me as Captain Canada. I want to thank you for watching. I want you to know that I love you. I want to wish you all luck in the world if I didn't just say that and I'm repeating myself. And I want you to know that suicide is never the answer. All right. Peace out.